So by a show of hands, how many of you have eaten pie? Literally everyone. Good. So today I'm here to tell you about where apple pie comes from. Then I'm going to tell you some things about apple pie in America that you probably don't know. And then I'm going to tell you about the tradition of apple pie in my family. So I make pie every year during Thanksgiving, and according to the Pie Council, a lot of others do. Approximately 186 million units of pie are sold every year, which is approximately $700 million. And nearly 1 out of 5 people, the most in any category, prefer apple pie. Pie is so important that Betty Crocker once wrote about it as a symbol of our country. If I were to design a coat of arms for our country, a pie would be the main symbol. It would appear with a background of orchards and berry bushes. For pie is a part of our history and tradition. By right of inheritance, adoption, and improvement, pies have become distinctly American. Every American home has its favorite pie. I'd like to start off by telling you about how pie came to America. According to Time Magazine's article on pie, apple pies were made with unsweetened apples and covered in an edible shell. The first apple pie was served in America on the second Thanksgiving. Colonists cooked many a pie, and because of their crusty tops, pies acted as a means to preserve food and were often used to keep filling fresh during the winter months. While pie is usually seen as a dessert, in the 19th century, fruit pies were a common breakfast food eaten before the start of a long day. I know I have a long day to go. I've got 3 classes, about 6 hours today, so I'm hoping that it helps you get through your hard day once I'm done with my speech. According to an archive from the Department of Defense in an article from 2013, as American as apple pie is a phrase that traces its ancestry back to the early American settlers. Apples were brought from Europe to America, and apple dishes became a staple of colonial dinner table. One of the many reasons apple pie was favored among early settlers was that it used precious little flour and required only a brick oven to make. Apples were fare for the common man. And when you say something is as American as apple pie, what you're really saying is that this item came to this country from somewhere else. It was transformed into a distinctively American experience. Apple pie is very simple to make. Preparing apple pie requires about an hour and requires very little in the way of ingredients. Most recipes take about 7 ingredients. Special pie plates are also part of presentation of pies. Apple pie is often paired with vanilla ice cream or milk, and many families use pie as a way of celebrating holidays. Apple pie has been a tradition in my family on Thanksgiving for many years, and even though Thanksgiving is touted as a family celebration, for me it is mainly about food. But then again, pretty much every day is about food for me. Thanksgiving is my main focus because it is the day that apple pie will be mine. With a big helping of Haagen-Dazs vanilla ice cream, I wouldn't have it any other way. Warm, buttery, flaky, each bit pairing with vanilla in a dance of perfection, savoring the crispy crust for last. When making pie, care to slice the apples to just the right thickness is very important. Once the pie shell is filled with apples and the sugary cinnamon butter topping was poured over, the choice is mine on how I'm going to cloak my masterpiece. Will it be lattice work, as usual? And if so, what will the finishing touch be for the edges? Will it be a fork pressed along the edge, creating a crunchy ending, or a forefinger pressed into it to create that wavy classic look? And the leftovers for lunch the next day, oh my goodness. I would always make sure that the next day I was the first and the last to devour apple pie. Ever since I was a kid, I've made apple pie once a year for Thanksgiving, and I still make it every year. And I decided to use this speech as an excuse to make one for you. To conclude, I've described to you where apple pie comes from, how Americans have adapted it from their British counterparts, and the tradition that my family has making one during the holidays. So the next time you're at an American holiday and there's pie there, it's probably apple. Thank you.